137 million?
Yes, and if I don't pay up, I'll go to jail for tax evasion. I'm crazy enough to take on Batman, but the IRS, no, thank you.
Hey everybody, we are back with James, the Lester's Express line, where we get you out as fast as possible. What can go wrong in a Chapter 7 case? Oh, DSP, so many things can go wrong. Let's find out live together.
Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'd like to talk to you today about what can possibly go wrong in your Chapter 7 case. And let me start by saying that most of the time Chapter 7 cases go through without a hitch. They're usually over start to finish in about 5 months. Rarely are there any kind of problems, but of course every once in a while there might be. So usually if you go into Chapter 7, it's going to be pretty much smooth sailing, but of course not always.
Unless you're DSP.
And I would tell you that there are usually a couple of different categories of problems that would arise in Chapter 7. One would be some sort of an issue that arises from information you didn't tell your attorney. For example,
like
if you have an inheritance that's coming your way, or if you have a personal injury case, something like that, you didn't tell your attorney, and those type of things can really crop up and become really big problems in Chapter 7 because those could be assets of the estate. Plus, bankruptcy judges get real concerned and real suspicious of people who don't disclose relevant financial information. So I think it's really important in Chapter 7 when you talk to your lawyer, to make sure you discuss everything that's going on, even things that may not happen, that you've got to notice that you're part of some class action, about a phone bill or a wireless or a cell phone bill or something like that may result in a little bit of money. Tell your lawyer. Don't assume that it's not a big deal. Nothing may happen, and that no one's going to be the wiser for it. Make sure that you tell your attorney everything. And basically, as you know, anything you tell us is basically going to be subject to the attorney-client privilege. So unless you're telling me that you're about to commit a crime, anything you tell me is going to stay between you and me.
Bankruptcy fraud?
By the same token, don't tell me that you have an asset you've got hidden away in your safe deposit box and expect me to go ahead with filing. I may choose not to represent you because, again, I'm not going to be involved and I'm not going to risk my license to help somebody defraud the bankruptcy court. So you want to make sure you're clean. You tell your lawyer everything. I will tell you that Murphy's Law usually applies in these cases, that if you don't tell your attorney something and it's damaging, it's probably going to come to light at some point. And if you've perjured yourself and lied to the bankruptcy court, you've got bigger problems than losing your discharge. You could find yourself with a criminal prosecution. The second area of issues that usually can arise in a Chapter 7 that could be a problem are those things that I would say don't meet the smell test. And what I mean by that is, obviously if you go out 3 weeks before bankruptcy and you charge up a killer hi-fi system, or you co-sign for a loan for somebody, you make a big payment to your brother-in-law right before filing. These things just common sense would tell you aren't going to work, and that somebody's going to object to them, and in fact somebody will. So it's really important, I think, that when you're getting ready to file bankruptcy, it's really better to talk to your lawyer. I would tell you, months ahead of time, just when you realize there's going to be a problem. It's best not to try to guess and fix it. In other words, don't go ahead and take money out of your retirement account and pay this debt and not pay that debt, things like that. That can really backfire. So I would tell you, if something gives you that nervous feeling, it doesn't really meet the smell test, don't do it and talk to an attorney. It's a lot easier for me to be proactive and to stop things from happening than to undo stuff that has happened. Yes, sometimes
like dropping
by
40K
disclosing
on
stuff that
WWE
you did, we can make it go away, or maybe not be a big issue. But sometimes there's really nothing I can do unless we have to wait until you let 6 months or a year go by or 2 years go by before filing. So don't put yourself in that position to have something go wrong by virtue of either not telling me about something or about doing something that you think will solve a problem, but in fact just makes it worse. So those are really the categories of things that can go wrong. I've written out a number of things, more examples of stuff that can go wrong, but I think that it's better for the purpose of this video just to hit the big categories. So, of course, if you have any questions about any of this type of stuff, please feel free to email me or call my office.
Yeah, not for this video. Next. That's right, we got more. So yeah, Don't rack up your credit cards on, I don't know, WWE champions. Or going out to eat multiple times, every single day off. Oh, I don't know. Paying off your taxes using credit cards. And they went back 6 months on his PayPal and his bank accounts and all that. You know why he waited until January to file? A, kept you alive, which had a weird ass $9,000 worth of business expenses, baby. But because he said I talked to the lawyer in October. Well, why didn't you file in October? 6 months beforehand would have been April, the wedding. When I don't know. Mommy said she was gonna give me $4,000 to help me pay off my taxes. Trying to hide that little gift from mommy, aren't you? Yeah. But in a 2004 a top investigation, they go back at least 5 years. So mommy giving that $4,000 still gonna get found out, dude. Also, like, oh yeah, you just made a big payment to your brother-in-law. Like, gee, oh yeah, I got married, dude. So I gave my wife a bunch of money, dude. That's why I'm broke. As I gave my wife a wedding gift, dude. Not gonna work. Anyways, here we go with the next video. Yay.
Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg, and I want to talk to you today
Hi,
about
Jonathan Ginsberg.
dismissing a Chapter 7 case. Sometimes I have people that come to me, they filed
And they
Chapter
fuck up.
7 either on their own or with another lawyer. They've changed their mind and they want to dismiss. And they say, well, can I just dismiss? I've changed my mind and undo what I've already done.
Nope.
And the answer to that is no. Bankruptcy, Chapter 7 bankruptcy is a little bit unusual in that when you file bankruptcy, you cannot voluntarily dismiss it. You have to have court permission to do so. And the reason for that is that the Bankruptcy Code does not want to see people filing bankruptcy to stop a legal action and then turning around and dismissing it and sort of manipulating creditors, if you will, manipulating the system. So the problem usually arises in situations where you have a lot of equity. And again, the best way to explain this is to give you an
Like, say,
example.
your
Years ago,
condo?
this is probably 20 years ago, I got a call from a fellow who had filed a bankruptcy at Chapter 7 because his wages were about to be garnished. And he filed it as a front page filing, didn't put any information in there, but basically said, I want to dismiss it. And it turns out that in his case, he had his mother, who had a house worth, I think at the time, $100,000, had put this gentleman's name, her son's name on the property
Ouch.
as a joint owner. And the son knew about this. And so basically he had an undivided interest in a $100,000 asset. So when he went to move to dismiss the case, obviously the trustee, I guess, got wind of it somehow, maybe from a creditor. The trustee had notified him, I would oppose any kind of dismissal. So again, he came to me, and I talked to the trustee, and the trustee said, look, he's filed bankruptcy. That is an asset that is now property of the bankruptcy estate. I'm going to go ahead and liquidate it for the benefit of creditors unless you want to make me an offer. So in this case, what we ended up doing was we made the trustee an offer, I think, of $45,000, which represented, approximately half interest in it.
Ouch.
Trustee could have been more demanding, but he accepted that. And my client had to get his mother to take a home equity loan and borrow $45,000 of money
Ouch.
on this property that was owned free and clear to buy out the trustee. That was
What
a very
POS.
expensive lesson. So the point is that when you have a Chapter 7 case, you cannot just dismiss it, especially, and in particular, if you have any sort of non-exempt asset that the
Like a
trustee can
Wakanda.
go after. Now, if you don't have any assets the trustee can go after, probably nobody's going to oppose it, but the trustee, I will tell you, is going to be very suspicious about anybody who wants to dismiss a case. So realize when you go into a bankruptcy, this is another reason why you never want to file bankruptcy without the guidance of a lawyer. All kind of bad stuff can happen, but especially in Chapter 7. Chapter 13, you can generally dismiss it voluntarily, although there's some exceptions to that too. Chapter 7, you cannot, and if you do want to go try to dismiss it, you're going to be asked a lot of questions, and you're going to be, your asset picture is going to be studied very carefully. You're going to be required to make a full disclosure so that the court is convinced you're not trying to hide something or play any kind of games with it. So
Like
that is
DSP is doing, right? Meow. Oh, he is so fucked. I love it. But now something that is very specific to DSP. Very 100% specific to him. Can I file if I earn $100,000 or more? Let's find out! Mind you, I don't watch this beforehand, so I don't know what he's going to say.
Hi, this is Jonathan.
Gonna guess
I'd like
yes.
to answer a question that I get sometimes from people. Can I file bankruptcy if I'm making $100,000, $150,000, $200,000, whatever the figure may be? And the answer is yes, but you'll be filing most likely a Chapter 13 or possibly a Chapter 11, in which you're going to pay back your debts probably at 100 cents on the dollar. Now again, it depends on your debt, so if you have a huge amount of debt, that may be less. But bottom line is, if you're making $200,000 a year, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to have enough disposable income or money left over at the end of the month to pay your debts in full. There's no income limit on filing Chapter 13 or Chapter 11, but the key is that we've got to show that you're paying as much as you can possibly afford. And again, I'm assuming if you're making $300,000 or $400,000 a year, that you're probably going to be able to afford to pay pretty much all of your debt. Now, obviously, if you've got a huge amount of tax debt or student loan debt, that may not be the case. But probably in most cases, you'll be paying 100 cents on the dollar. But if somebody tells you that because you're making $100,000 or $150,000, you cannot file bankruptcy, that's not correct. We would have some things to look at. We'd have to make sure the case passes muster, but it is certainly possible. So I hope that's helpful. Again, any questions about this or anything else related to bankruptcy, personal bank?
We're going to end it there, buddy. But yes, he can still file, but Chapter 13. Now, yes, trying to get his business expenses to get him down to the limit to where he can file for Chapter 7 is going to blow up in his face because obviously he's lying his ass off. Either he's double dipping on his mortgages and other bills, like it's personal and business because I am the sole proprietor, so I am the business, so they're both business and personal. Ack. Or WWE Champions microtransactions, which we know he's including on his taxes and bankruptcy because he even said it in the phone call under oath. So yeah, lying sack of shit. Anyways, hopefully this helps you understand more about what the fuck he's going through. And the whole, alright, file for Chapter 7 to stop this. Now I'm going to pull back because I got fucked with. Fuck them. No, sir. You have a $100,000 asset. But I don't want to lose that. Well, then you better hope the trustee takes half. Or in this case, 45%, because it's $45,000 out of $100,000. Anyways. He owes, well, at the time of filing, $228,000 on the Wakando. He's paying $1,800 a month, so he's, let's see, filing January, so February, March, April. Take away 3 months worth of payments. It's probably down to $226. And some of the condos in this area are going for $422, so he's close to $200,000. $200,000. Alright, so you take away the real estate, what the agent takes. So alright, so it's $160,000. Oh, Mr. DSP, you have a $160,000 asset. You get to keep $125,000. That means we get $35,000 to give to your creditors. Goodbye, Wakando. But I didn't want to lose the Wakando. Doesn't matter. The trustee gets it, bitch. Unless you can work out a deal where it's like, well, I'll pay you $40,000, but I get to keep the Wakando. All right, Mr. Burnell, but do you have $40,000? Well, Mom, Dad, get an equity loan on your house so I can pay my $40,000 to the trustee so she doesn't take my Wakando. That's gonna be his Chapter 7. If she gives it to him, which she probably will. But as an asset case, because what was it, the 10 business days to decide whether or not to try and convert it to 13 have already passed. That's already passed, so Chapter 13's out. At this point, it's either Chapter 7 asset case, she takes everything, including the Wakando, unless he works out a deal, or just dismissed, and the creditors eat him alive. So yes, you could see very much him going, please, it's only going to be like $35,000, $40,000 that goes to the creditors if I lose my Wakando. So how about I just give you $40,000? Mommy, Daddy, get a second mortgage, remortgage, equity loan, whatever on your house, so I can use that money to set my house. Ack. Sorry, Dad, you gotta work until you're 80 to pay off all my debts. Ack. Snort. Terrible. Yeah, so hopefully this video gives you guys more insight into what the fuck's going on with this bullshit. And as always, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and have a wonderful day, unlike DSP.